When was the last time you cleaned your gutters? It's probably been a while. Do you got gutter guards? Oh, you don't? Well, that means your roof is probably worn out. Yes, if you didn't get gutter guards and you're lazy on your guttering, you're going to probably need a new roof because of your laziness. In fact, you need an affordable roof. Call Affordable Roofing to get the best roof in town. Tony will tell you the maintenance you need so you don't have to have this problem anymore. Just because you were lazy and cheap and didn't buy those guards and you didn't feel like getting on that roof, you could fix that problem and fix your ways too. Because with a great roofer comes a great roofing coach. So call my man Tony at Affordable Roofing Go. That number is 423-593-9605. Give my man Tony a call. Tell him Tom sent you. We have a very exciting episode coming up today with the world's best contractor. And everybody knows a good contractor, especially the best contractor at Daniel James Construction, will tell you a solid foundation is the most important part of a building. And the most solid foundation is Brown and Whitworth Foundation. Their foundation is so strong, they don't let your feeble ass in there. In fact, it's so strong, I don't even know who this Brown guy is. I guess he's too elite or part of the Illuminati. Who knows? Maybe he's the man responsible for keeping this country afloat. I don't know, but that's Brown and Whitworth Foundation. Thank you, guys. The world is in distress. Gas prices are through the roof. Food processing plants are burning down. Captain Cranberry needs you for his Justice League. But guess what? You're fat, out of shape, you like to drink, you like to smoke, you probably eat too much sweets. So you can't be part of any Justice League. I don't know if you saw my man, Captain Cranberry. He's got abs for days. And you can get that. You could get it for free because the first one's for free. And then after your first one, you will see how valuable Dylan is in 10-8 personal training and how much you need it. It's free. You guys haven't did it yet. And what's going to happen when the zombies come? Captain Cranberry can't save you all. You guys need to get in shape and join this Justice League. And the first one's on me. That number is 951-445-3133. Again, call my man Captain Cranberry, aka nickname Dylan, at 951-445-3133 and get your ass in shape. Welcome to the Militia Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. I am super excited for this episode. I'm actually very honored to have this guy with me. He's like an older brother to me. He's probably had the second most fight experience here, excluding Smiling Sam and Jordan. He builds houses. He's just amazing. I have the one and only Daniel James, a.k.a. Danny Glover. How you doing, Daniel?
Doing pretty good. You?
I'm doing awesome. So, Daniel, I understand you grew up in this area.
Yes, sir, for 42 years.
Where did you grow up?
Graceville, Georgia, right across the line here at East Ridge.
So, Graceville, Georgia, that's not like where Rossville, it's a little bit.
Yeah, it's when you go back down through East Ridge, you'll go over that's right across the state line of Tennessee, right over here.
So it's like east or west of Rossville?
Yeah.
Okay. And now, where did you go to grammar school growing up?
Graceville Elementary, which is about a mile from the house.
Okay. What's Graceville like?
Or
at least back then, what was it like? Is it rural?
Yeah, it was. But they, I don't know, just small town. Didn't do a whole lot.
Do you have a bowling alley there?
No, they didn't do that. We tried to get them to put one in, but we couldn't.
There's like not enough people?
Yeah, there wasn't enough people.
What was the population in Graceville?
Shoot, the whole school, there was probably a couple hundred kids maybe from K through 5.
Wow. That was so a couple hundred kids in grade school.
In grade school, yeah.
And K through 5.
Yeah, and it was like a feeder school.
But you were probably K through 8, right? Probably.
No, they went to 5th grade, and then it was like a feeder school, and it fed into like Ringo Middle or Lakeview or somewhere.
Okay, we didn't have
Penny.
middle school till like I got to middle school.
Right.
That was a new thing. So if you were we were K to 8th grade.
Yeah, ours started in 6th.
Oh, wow. Look at you, the South ahead of the times.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
No.
So a pretty rural area. What you guys do for fun growing up as kids?
Climb trees and pick up sticks and make guns out of them. Get every kid in the neighborhood and play football or some kind of sports.
And then you like ended up fighting the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, that happened sometimes. I was kind of the mean kid, I guess.
You were the bully when you were a kid?
I was too little to be a bully. I was just always the one fighting, though.
Were you comparable to Bryce's size when you were his age?
I was close to the same size as he was, yeah.
Those of you who don't know, Bryce is his oldest son.
Yes.
He's now 18, 19?
He's 19.
19. We'll get into Bryce and them later. But so you were short, huh?
Oh, I was always the littlest kid. Like when they did the pictures for the yearbook, they always put the shortest kids in the front. It was always me and another kid.
And you were standing up.
Everybody else was sitting down.
So when was did you go hunting as a kid?
No, I did. Well, just a couple times. I always got bored with that.
How old were you the first time you went hunting?
I think probably like 12.
12.
Yeah.
Did you kill anything when you were 12?
No. I ended up falling asleep because I was bored because we didn't see anything.
You guys didn't pick the good hunting spots.
No. I think they always put me in the spot where there wasn't nothing.
Yeah, they just wanted you to say that you hunt.
Yeah.
You're right of passage. Did you ever like go hunting, or was that a part of a lot of people down there went hunting, right?
Yeah, it's big. My brother's a big hunter, but me, I was always a sports guy. So.
Okay. Oh, so did you play sports growing up?
No, I just in the neighborhood. I was like, I think I held the home run record in my neighborhood.
Is that still on the neighborhood plaque?
It probably is. Whoever could hit it over the power line, it was a home run. Wasn't that far, but I think.
Did you live there all throughout high school, or did you move when you were in high school?
No, I lived there from the time I was a kid all the way up until I moved out, and I moved out when I was 23.
Okay. So let's talk about high school for a minute. What high school did you go for?
It was Ringgold.
Ringgold, okay. Yeah. So what was that like? How many kids were in the high school?
I think we had about 1,200 from 9th to 12th.
Okay.
Maybe. So I think we was like a 3A or what we was classified as back then.
3A. Okay, so you probably just knew about everybody in high school.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, there wasn't hardly anybody you didn't know.
And their family, right?
Yeah, most of them.
What was it like at Ringgold High School?
Dip cans and.
Did you dip in high school?
No, I didn't. But everybody else did. No, it was just kind of like a little redneck school.
Now, did they have the wrestling team back then? Because they got a good wrestling team now, I hear.
Yeah, they did, and they had a good program, but they didn't dominate. They had a few years after I graduated that they had a couple kids that dominated.
Okay. So there was wrestling
there
early.
Was. Mm-hmm.
And football was the big thing, right, in Ringgold High School?
Well, we had a football coach, and we was so predictable because it could be like 4th and 10, and it was running it right up the middle. So we usually turned the ball over. We wasn't good at football.
They're like, we're going to fake the punt again.
Again, yeah. Or let's just hand it to this guy and let him go straight up the middle and get tackled for a loss on 4th and 10.
Yeah, you're like, hey, can we just give them the ball?
Yeah, it would have been easier and wouldn't hurt as bad.
So it's definitely improved since then?
It has, yeah. They've got a lot better. They
decide to punt on the 4th.
They do. They at least punt now, and no, they've had a couple of runs where they've made the playoffs, which is not something they've done a lot. I think in the past few years, they might have made it to like what they call the Sweet 16, maybe.
Okay.
So that's the top 16 in like their 3A or whatever. So that was pretty good. But yeah, they wasn't good when I was in there.
No, they weren't. Yeah, no, they didn't have you on the team.
That's right, they didn't.
Now, how tall were you back then? And
Shoot, when I was a freshman, I think I went in the freshman year at like 5'2", and I weighed about 106 pounds.
all right,
It's probably the perfect for wrestling, maybe, but I never did wrestle because my parents wasn't very supportive.
they weren't into wrestling.
No, they wasn't into anything with sports hardly.
Really, you grew up in a non-sports household.
Yeah, it was all about work
And church, right?
and church. Yes,
You were raised going to church every Sunday?
every Sunday and Wednesday, every time the doors opened, we was in church. Yes,
Was your dad the pastor,
he was.
preacher back then?
He was
Pastor,
yes.
right?
He was a pastor. Yeah.
What is that? What's the difference between so we were raised Catholic and we would always have a priest. What's the
It's
difference?
the same thing.
It's just the same
Yeah.
thing? Like they're allowed to have wives and families and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're a priest, you're only allowed little boys. That's it.
Yeah. No, there wasn't none of that when he was pastoring. Thank goodness.
No, that's a Catholic
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
So what religion?
It was Church of God growing up, but
Church of God.
yeah.
What
yeah.
is that?
That's
a
what
Christian.
It is, and they speak in tongues, and a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people get kind of freaked out by
Yeah,
that.
wait. So do they Holy Ghost?
Yes, they do.
So now tell me this. So when you see people Holy Ghost in church, but nobody's Holy Ghosting at like the library or anything.
No, it's different. It's definitely different. Once I got older, I went to Baptist. I like to sit there and listen.
Did you ever Holy Ghost once?
No, I didn't, but I'd like I say, I switched over to Baptist just because it was just more laid back and quiet. They would kind of scare you a little bit.
Yeah. Baptist is very scary religion. Now, the Church of God. I'm fascinated with people Holy Ghosting or like getting all crazy. Did they do that? Did you see?
They did
like
about
every week.
Every week.
Was
yeah.
it the same suspects?
Pretty much.
Like,
yeah.
Maud's, good old Maud's doing it again, and some old lady too.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them. But
Really?
yeah, it kind of, like I say, if you've never been to one and you go, you're kind of like
Let's get the
sitting there like,
defibrillator.
you're going, goodness, like what's going on. So the first time that Candy went with me, she's sitting there going, what in the world, and I was like, just, it's cool, just sit back.
When did you first meet Candy? Candy's your wife?
Yes, I was a senior and she was a freshman.
Senior? All right.
Yeah. So we've been together since
So
high school.
how old were you at senior?
I was 17.
Okay.
She turned 15 by the time we started talking.
Oh, you pedophile, yo. No, you're all right. I hear Georgia, it's like after you're 16.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
matter.
like it
does
don't
it?
matter. So you met her as a senior. How'd you guys meet? You seen her coming
This
in?
is cool. Actually,
You're like, oh, no, look at this. There's a new talent. This new freshman
Yeah.
talent.
yeah, who's that? No, I didn't like her at first. It was funny because everybody else did, and everybody hated her because she was the pretty girl in school coming in as a freshman. So she got picked on a lot.
You had a jealousy?
Yes. Oh, it was bad. And I think I met her towards the end of my senior year, but after she had pushed me trying to get to some girl that she got in a fight with that was a senior.
Wait. So she
got in a fight, yeah.
You got to. So wait. You fought or Candy fought?
She fought because some girl, like, there was a group of cheerleaders that kept messing with them, like.
And she was a cheerleader,
Yes.
Candy?
No, Candy was not a cheerleader, but she was talking at that time to one of the football players, and the cheerleader squad, like, there was about 4 of them, I think, and between them 4 or 5 girls, they was after Candy and her cousin the whole year, and they finally made a pact, and Candy's cousin said, I'm going to fight this girl today. And she goes, I'm going to get ISS. And then Candy goes, well, if you get in a fight, I'll get in a fight too.
Thelma Louise.
Yeah. So we're, and I didn't know them then, but I just heard the story after. But so while we're all like walking down the steps to go to, in between classes, and her cousin had gotten a fight, like 2 periods before. So when we're walking down the stairs, she like coming through, busting through everybody, which is not really like her kind of character because she's kind of quiet. You've met her.
Yeah,
I mean, she's quiet. And
She's nice. She's quiet.
Yeah,
Reserved.
Yes, big time. So she come through there and like cleared it out of my way, like Moses parting the Red Sea. Like,
Just,
get out of here.
Yeah, like a little ball of fire.
Yeah, and she grabs that girl and she like grabs her by the hair, pulls her down, and just starts punching her. And I was like, hey, that girl's kind of hot. That's kind of, no, I'm kidding.
You're like,
no,
what great ground and pound.
Yeah, but I still didn't really know her then. It was a little while later before
But you knew who she was after the fight.
Yeah, I knew who she was.
You're like, oh, man, good old fussing and fighting.
That's the kind of girl I need right
yeah,
there.
you're like, look at this one. She's got great ground and pound.
Yeah, her ground and pound is on point.
Yeah, she knows to grab the hair for leverage.
She did.
So then a little bit, so you saw Candy win this. She won the fight.
Yeah, she won. So she was 1-0 in her career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure she doesn't want to come try jujitsu?
I've tried to talk to her, and she's kind of a germaphobe, so it probably won't happen.
Yeah,
One of these days, maybe.
One of these days.
I tell her everybody's clean though up here. At least they're all clean when they come in. So
she might have to find a cleaner gym.
This is probably one of the cleanest.
Oh, all right, good. Yeah. Oh man, if this is the bar.
Yeah.
So you saw her fantastic ground and pound. And then you're like, this girl's kind of hot. And then time goes on.
Yeah, and actually, when we first met, my best friend was talking to her cousin and tried to get me to go with him to talk, or to their house and go meet them or whatever. And I was
guys
like,
gonna watch WrestleMania?
I guess, and like learn some of her moves for later, Yeah. But I didn't really want to go at the time, so I ended up going, and then we started talking. And
what happened? He's like, "Hey, I want to go hang out with chicks." You're like, "Oh, that sounds gay."
I was like, "Yeah, who wants to go do it?" No, I forget. I had plans. I talked to a couple of different people back then, and just kind of hanging out or whatever. And then he's like, "Hey, you want to go with me over to here?" And I finally did. And then after that, we kind of hit it off, and we've been together pretty much ever since.
You've been together more than you haven't been together.
Yes. Yeah, for 24 years total that we've been together.
Yeah, you met when you were 17?
I was 17, she was 15. So,
wow.
She's one of the luckiest women on earth.
I know. Getting good old Danny Glover.
Yeah. She hit the lottery, all right.
The most dangerous guard in all of North Georgia.
And East Ridge.
And East Ridge. Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah. Don't forget East Ridge.
Yeah, don't forget it. You can't live out East Ridge.
So you meet Candy. You're in high school. What do you guys do? Go to like football games? What's like East Ridge life back then? Senior year.
Well, it was Ringgold. But yeah, but
you guys hung out down here on Brainerd Road, right?
Well, we went to Brainerd Road like all the time. That was kind of the cool place to go back then.
That was like the hot strip in Chattanooga.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't want to say thousands of people, but I would say there was on any given weekend, Friday and Saturday night, there was probably 250 people out there.
What was the thing to do on like the Saturday night or Friday
Well,
night?
it was weird because basically you ride around in a circle. You ride from one end of the street to the other. You turn around in the McDonald's parking lot, and then you come back and you ride through, where Sir Goonies was, and then you'd park there, and then you'd have some people with some hot rods, and there'd be races or something.
So it's like a car scene? Did you have the Camaro?
I didn't have no. I had a Jeep Wrangler, but I always had buddies with Mustangs.
Oh, so all right. You were
they had what they thought was fast cars, but they was like a stock car with a Flowmaster.
Yeah. You had the 6-cylinder Mustangs or the 4-cylinder.
They was V8s, but they was like they'd put like a shot of nitrous on it, and then like I had a buddy that was trying to race, and he blew out there. He like tore third gear out of his car, and it was like a stock car with a Flowmaster. It wasn't set up for racing, but it was. It was fast for us, when you're in high school. And
it's so funny, too, because, like, the cars so fast back then are, like, they make Honda Accords faster now. Like, this Honda Accord's got 280 horsepower.
Yeah.
And you get twice as much gas mileage.
Yeah, I had a Mitsubishi Eclipse that was a couple of years old at the time.
Was it stick?
Yeah, and it was a GST. It was
So
a
you had
turbo.
the turbocharge,
Yeah, it
all-wheel
was.
drive, or no GS?
It was just front wheel drive, but it wouldn't spin hardly, and it would fly, for what it was. But it was kind of when the Fast and Furious movies was coming out.
Oh, yeah. That made that car so popular.
So you're basically going out there with a little, they call them Nopey cars is what everybody used to call them, but it was like rice burners or 4-cylinders. And
That was a pretty fast car, though.
yeah, it was quick.
Not reliable at all.
No, but I beat a couple of Mustangs, and the one guy that I beat him over there on the terrace, and got mad and said he was going to go sell his Mustang and get rid of it.
That's what I heard. Those things would always beat like Mustangs and stuff. You guys would race
stock ones. It would.
Stock ones.
Yeah, it would.
Unless you did work to it, because those turbos are pretty easy to work on.
They was, and if you had the money to put in them, you could make them like super fast. But I never did. Mine was a stock car too. It just looked good.
Did it break down a lot?
No, it never did while I had it.
Really? My buddy's has had them since we were like 18. And half his life he's had one that never ran. And he's like, this one's going to run. I put all these parts in it and they never run.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
No, my father-in-law, he had the RX-7s. He was big into the RX-7s.
The rotary motor.
Yes, and those were fast.
I heard they're really reliable.
They are, and he spent $120,000 on one and sent it to like Canada.
And what year was that?
The car was a 93, but this was in like 99.
So yeah, that's like $2 million right now.
Yeah, probably. But he sent some guys up to get it, so they went up to get it and took a rollback to get it, and you had to break the car in to get it to run. Well, they didn't break it in right, so when they brought it back, they had actually took it off the trailer up there, the rollback, and got it off and was trying it out. When they got it back and got here, it was like all messed up. So every bit of the money he spent was like wasted.
Did he get the money back?
No, because his guys messed it up, and they finally admitted that they did it. So he was just out, and he never got the car running.
What did he do? Just fired him?
He probably beat their rear end back then for that. I think he hit one of them. But, yeah, I don't know. He never got it running right. And the transmissions and stuff was all jacked up too.
Yeah, once they're broke that bad. So you were the street racing king in the Mitsubishi Eclipse.
I was the shotgun king. I was always with the guys.
Were you the
cars.
trash talker?
No, I wasn't the trash talker. I was usually the one who got put in the middle of something when they did the trash talking, and they would always.
You were the enforcer.
Yes.
You were the muscle that your boys could talk shit, and then you would always have their back.
Yeah.
And then they were more inclined to talk shit because they knew you were there.
They knew I was there, and I hated to
What
even.
great friends.
Yeah, I know.
I have a bunch of those friends.
Well, I hated to even get into it, and I tried to stay out of it. But when you got two guys and they have a race, or they're sitting there arguing out there, then they're sitting there mouthing, and they're like talking about what they're going to do to each other, and they never do it. I usually end up getting mad before they did.
Yeah, so you're like, I'm going to do stuff.
This is it. Let's go. Let's do this and go. So
yeah, I got in
trouble. Yeah, it got me in trouble quite a few times.
So did you get into a lot of fights in high school?
Yes. I counted at least one or two about every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a crazy amount.
No, but it was a lot. I got put on probation one time.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, I had a guy that was messing with us, and this wasn't over a street race, and this was just a typical punk at the school and kind of like mouthing at our buddies.
Shit, yeah.
High school stupid stuff. You'd see them out at the mall. They would be like running their mouth. Like
it's funny. The mall was a good spot for fighting.
Yeah.
I remember fighting at the mall.
Yeah, and so we would be like out, and we was out on New Year's Eve. I'll never forget it because I was only 16 years old, and we had went and rented a movie, come back by McDonald's, and I was with my buddies. Well, then this guy walks in that's been running his mouth for like months to them, and like kind of to everybody.
But yeah, not to you directly, but it just
one of those guys. And so
a gum flapper.
He was sitting there like kind of talking to his buddy, mouthing, and I'm getting mad. I had a short temper back then.
And you're a man of few words unless
Yeah.
you know you.
Yeah, I don't really say much. And
Unless we know you, though. We said it's
Then-
like trying to plug a drain.
yeah,
It's
like
running.
shut up, please. That's what everybody says. But no,
Then you're a regular Southerner.
yeah. So he started, mouthing, and they went outside, and I'm trying to eat, and he's sitting over there like they had went outside smoking a cigarette, and he's looking in the window, and I'm sitting here like finally going, okay, what are you doing? This is it. I'd had enough, and went out there, and he ran his mouth a couple times, and I hit him, and probably did more than I should have. And then there's like, oh, we got to go. They're calling the cops. So I'm sitting here and freaking out going, okay, I was, like when you're fighting and you don't really you're blacking out almost and you're hitting them and all of a sudden
You're
it's
seeing
like
red and you got to get back to your lifted truck.
Yeah,
No.
you're waking up going, oh crap, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm getting out of there, and thinking that I was going to get away, and it wasn't. Probably 2 hours later, my mom's calling me, on New Year's Eve, telling me, hey, your party's over. You need to come home because you're getting charges pressed. And they had told me this and that. I guess his parents had called, and they had like some cop coming to talk to me and get a statement or something. But he ended up going into the hospital for a couple of days.
And you got to pay. Did you? Oh,
I
man.
didn't have hospital bills, but I did get, I got probation. But I was 16, stupid, like hot-headed, and probably shouldn't have done it. But
You know what, though? You probably shouldn't even went home. The party shouldn't have. The charges are pressed. You could have. The party wasn't over.
my parents were so strict. Like when they was so mad, they was like, "Hey, you need to
You
come
would have
home."
been in the same amount of trouble if you didn't end the party early. You know?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna say nothing, and then somebody else did. So it was kind of like, get home.
Yeah, I get it. And then you're so young, you think that's like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here freaking out, going, okay, I don't know. I'm sitting there going, maybe the dad beat him up when he got home because he got his butt kicked. I don't know, but I'm facing like a felony charge as a 15-year-old, going, I hope I don't go to juvenile. So, but I ended up, I got out. I got a probation or whatever. And
You had a plea here and a plea bargain. They just wanted.
Nothing happened as far as I didn't even have to pay nothing, but I got a year probation. I got off.
So what is probation as a 16-year-old in Ringo? What, do you got to pee in a cup?
No, I didn't, because I went in there and I talked to the probation.
In Ringgold, you got to poop on a cup.
You got to poop, yeah. The probation officer said, you don't belong here. He kind of knew, because I told him what happened. He knew.
Because it's a small town.
Yeah.
Everyone knew. It was in the paper. It was front page. Good old Danny Glover punches guy who's been talking crap for days.
Right. And he told me, he said, look, I'm going to help you get off of this. He said, just cooperate and we'll get you done. And I got off in 6 months.
What is cooperating?
Just, stay out of trouble.
Yeah, just low profile.
Yeah, kind of low profile. And it almost backfired because I was actually back out in Brainerd. I had a curfew, so I had to be home at a certain time. But
Because your parents?
Well, just because the probation officer had set that.
Gave you a curfew.
Yeah,
What time was it, 10
like
o'clock?
11 or something, I think, on a weekend.
Did you get to negotiate? He said 10. You're like, come on.
No,
push
come
it to
on,
11.
man. Let me have at least an extra hour. No, he just said, just be home. And I
Let's just
tried to
keep
be
it low.
home. But about 3 months before I got off probation, I was out, of course, at Brainerd, and the same thing happened with the people running their mouth. And here I get kind of into another one.
And now do you know in the back of your head, I shouldn't be doing this?
I did, but I couldn't resist, so I ended up beating that guy up pretty good. And
Do you think a little bit comes because you had a little bit of a rep, too? Because there's definitely a little bit of an ego you have as a younger kid.
yeah, well, these particular bunch, they were from Lakeview, which Lakeview was a rival.
Oh, what did they beat you in football or some shit?
They used to, yeah. It was
that's how Georgia rivalries happen, right?
Yeah, it's always something stupid that starts it, but
And something like these kids 10 years younger than us beat us in football. The adults are pissed then.
yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. And then it's like you got to hate these guys because they beat us. So it was always a rival, but these guys, it was started over racing, just running. One got beat, and then they start mouth running, and then
You're like, I got a curfew. I better go fucking race.
Yeah, and
We
got to
this
get
off.
But I got out of there once I hit him, and I took off back towards ringoed. And luckily I didn't get nothing became of that. So I was lucky.
Do you think if you would have hit the first guy and then left and like just played, how'd you get caught? Somebody, was there too many witnesses?
On the first fight?
Yeah.
Because he went to the hospital.
Yeah, but there was too many witnesses.
Yeah, and it was in McDonald's on Gun Barrel. Yeah. So it was kind of like...
Oh, nobody's ever heard of that restaurant.
Yeah, I know.
Fair enough. What's that restaurant called? I've never heard of that before.
The Dollar Burgers.
Yeah, maybe I should try them out. All right, good.
Check it out. It's McDonald's.
Is it new?
I think it's been here like 2 years.
Oh, all right. Is it just a Tennessee restaurant,
Yeah, they're all over Georgia, too. It's maybe like a southern thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those. So how'd you get started in martial arts?
Well, I went through school, never played sports. Like I say, I worked most of the time, so I went through school.
Did you go martial arts in high school, or is it post-high school?
Post-high school. My dad was a Golden Glove boxer.
Your dad was a Golden Gloves boxer?
Yes, sir.
So when you say Golden Gloves boxer, did he win the Golden Gloves or he boxed in the Golden Gloves?
He boxed in the Golden Gloves.
Okay, I wonder that. My grandpa's like, I'm a Golden Gloves champ, and I actually have the Golden Gloves. He boxed under Jack Dempsey.
Right. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. We got a rich lineage in fisticuffs, but I always hear Golden Glove boxer. I don't know if it's just like they fought Golden Gloves or they won it.
Yeah, he just fought Golden Gloves.
Okay. So that was a bigger deal, though, back then. People don't understand Golden Gloves back when, in the day, like my grandpa fought in Madison Square Garden was on movie reels because it was a big deal.
Right.
And I'm sure it was the biggest deal in all of Georgia, the Golden Gloves.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was probably in Atlanta we fought for him.
Yeah. I'm not real sure. I've never really talked to him about it.
You got to talk to him about it.
I need to ask him.
Yeah, ask him about it.
Because it's kind of interesting, but he just, at a young age.
We could have brought him on the podcast.
We should have.
Next time.
Next time.
Next time.
But yeah, he started us out at like 14. So I started boxing at about 14, and then you go through school and everybody's like, oh, he boxes. And then you got people coming over and wanting to try to outbox you. So then, you do that all the time.
You're just learning the fundamentals, too.
Right. But everybody thinks they can fight too until they fight somebody that has a little more experience. But
yeah.
But I did that until I graduated, and then in 1999 is when I got started in the martial arts. Okay,
so you graduated.
Yes.
And you got started. How did you get started? Where did you start?
Well, when I was in school, I
had some boxing.
I had some boxing, yeah. But when I got out of school, I got to telling Candy, I said, I went through school, I didn't really get to do much because I worked.
You're like, Candy, I'm winning all these fights in this
I need to be doing something.
And I'm not passing these tests.
Right.
Something's got to give.
Right. So when I told her, I said, it would be nice to have like some kind of an accomplishment because, you usually like if somebody like is in like a sport and they're like a wrestler, it's like, don't mess with that guy.
He's a wrestler.
Right. I had kind of the reputation of don't mess with that guy. He's like a street fighter. But I said, it would be nice to have like some kind of an accomplishment. So I figured I would go try to find them.
Not just fighting all the yokels in Ringgold, right?
Right. So I said, I want to go get a black belt, and at least that way I can say, hey, I've got some kind of an accomplishment.
Just like, give me any black belt.
Right. It didn't matter what it was.
You didn't know what a black...
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Before I went to my first mixed martial arts gym, after like wrestling was done for me, so here's my mentality. I was like, all right, I want to fight MMA. I was like, I got wrestling. I'm going to have to go figure out somewhere to do some ground fighting. And I think maybe I was thinking jiu-jitsu or something else. I had no idea.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm going to have to go to like the karate school, like right up the road, and I'll learn striking there. And then I'm just going to have to make some weird hybrid stance between wrestling, karate, and grappling and fight.
Right.
That was before like MMA gyms were a thing.
Was the thing, yes.
And this is like somewhere in high school. I was thinking that, like almost post high school.
Right.
So you were like, I need just a black belt.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where it started.
Yeah,
So,
same mentality. Like, yeah, black belt's good.
right.
Then you got to register your hands.
Right. Well, then, like if you just fight everybody, then everybody's like, oh, he's a street fighter. But if you get a black belt, they're like, oh, that guy's a black belt.
His hands are registered.
Yeah, he's a black belt. That guy, I've seen some of the weakest people have like a black belt, but they're like, oh, that guy's got a black belt. And I'm going,
I actually
okay.
I actually had an interesting conversation kind of on that theory. Like you were saying, not theory, like thing. You were saying, oh, this guy's the weakest guy because he's got a black belt. Well, back in the day, you could, like, I guess what was big in our day? Taekwondo.
Karate.
Karate,
here,
Taekwondo.
Yeah. And,
Kempo.
It was more of, they call it United Karate Studio. That was the UKS karate.
Okay, we had a lot of Kempo. Was the
Which
big,
is better. That's like a good style. I mean, for karate. It's the better style of karate, I think.
Somebody created a diversion of Kempo in ours. His name was Art Bynes. Actually was a good wrestler, though. I think he took second in state in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back in the day, but it was still, one state champ.
Yeah.
So he was pretty good, but he created the style, and, it's not suited for MMA, I don't think, but that was big in the area. So I thought I had to go to him.
The big one around here back then was Jesse Thornton.
I see him down in Ringgold.
Yeah, he's down there, and he's like, he's good. I mean, he's good for the karate. But
what's he like? American kickboxing, Chuck Norris-esque?
Yeah, kind of. But
I'm sure he's got like Joe. I wouldn't want to fight Joe Louis standing, the kickboxer.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't want to fight the Joe Louis boxer in his prime.
I went down there in the 7th grade, and I had tried it out, and I had worked all summer to get like the money.
I went to Art Bynes in like 3rd grade. I got a yellow belt.
I finally saved up enough money for you could do a 2-month summer program for like $90, and I mowed some yards enough to get the money because my parents would pay for it.
That's good.
They would let me They would let me do piano lessons, but they wouldn't let me do karate. So
they're like, this guy's gonna go to the London Symphony Orchestra.
Right. But this, when I went down there, I'm standing there, and the guy, Jesse was like sitting there in front of me, like kicking me and like coming like an inch from my face.
Was he serious?
He was good. Yeah, he's good at what he does.
Was he serious?
He had a serious side. He
was lighthearted?
Yeah, he is.
Because, I remember going into I did a Taekwondo at Art Bynes, and they were just always so serious, like they had a stick up their ass.
No, he was pretty good with
So he must have fought.
He did. Yeah, he had a lot of fights.
So he had some American kickboxing, which was big in the time.
He might have won a world title for the kickboxing, maybe.
World title's a loosely term.
It is.
What I consider a legitimate world title is if you win the number 1 title on that continent or country, or it depends.
That's legit. Yeah, that would be like a legitimate title. But
it depends. Like my buddy won one for the best organization in Africa. I would call that a world title.
Right.
I won in the best organization in Canada, which was one of the top 4 at the time.
Right.
Organizations in the world. I would call that a world title. Maybe I'm a little biased that way.
No. Well, I mean, like you say, that it's like, well, we won this or we won that, but you won it in like a certain area, but you didn't win it like you say, like over a broad area.
Yeah, you weren't fighting. You won the world title, but nobody was from Brazil. They were all from Tennessee, Georgia, or Alabama.
Yeah. I won this big grappling tournament. And
Worlds.
Worlds. And
I'm a world champ.
It was in Chattanooga. Well, how many people was in there? Well, there was only like 2, but I won the Worlds.
Yeah. They're like, I took silver. Well, how many people competed in the world championship too?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. I took 2 out of 2.
Others just didn't qualify for that, right?
Yeah, right. All the Brazilians didn't make it.
Yeah, they got stuck in Brazil because of the restrictions on the COVID.
So, where did you first start? Like, what was did we get to that? I don't know if we covered that. You didn't.
I never did. I don't think we've talked about that.
Yeah, where was your first gym besides Jesse Thornton?
It was over because I was only there like a couple of months, so that don't really count. But the first gym that I was at was actually right down the road in East Ridge. It was Sheridan Lupo was the instructor, and it was just called the Academy of Martial Arts.
Okay.
So the guy he's good. He's legit. I mean, he really was. He was good. Like He had about 7 different styles they kind of incorporated in what they done.
Like, what styles were some of the standout styles?
He had like a.
I'm sure you don't know all 7.
Well, he had a Shotokan,
Okay.
which was the karate style. He
Yes,
had
that big in our
a
era.
judo.
Judo.
He had a like a kung fu style.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of different
Kung
variations
Fu's,
of that.
people don't realize this. Kung Fu was very effective when people didn't live a super long time and they had endless time to morph their body into weapons, like create blades out of their fingers
Right.
and like just deform them in hot gravel and metal and
Right.
all day just doing that to make your fingers sharp like knives, because you have to fight the emperor or whoever it was war, like nunchucks size are all stuff they've made. Like when weapons got taken away, they had to figure out how to make these garden tools into weapons.
Right. And that was like when we was, when I was training or whatever, you had to pick a weapon. I picked the college sticks. And he was a
that's
Filipino call. Yeah, I picked those because I said, I can find a stick anywhere.
Yeah.
And I can pick up a stick and hit somebody with it. So it was kind of like an easy decision. And they was like, oh, you don't want to do the swords? And I'm going, well, there's not a sword lying around that I'm going to be able to like cut somebody. So I just went the route
You
of
can't be carrying it around.
Yeah, if I get in a fight and I pull out my sword out of the back of my truck,
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go to the trunk.
Yeah, look, just wait right there. I'll be back. Let me go get my sword.
You didn't choose the ninja stars?
No. We had some of those. You could pick them up at the flea market, and that was
Yeah,
like
right?
the cool thing to do.
I
When it was
bet
like
you-
5.
I bet you had so many weapons at the flea market growing up.
Oh, there was a bunch.
Do
Yeah.
you think you could have bought a gun underage when you were underage?
Around here, it wouldn't surprise me.
Like
I
at the
never
flea
tried.
market?
Yeah, maybe.
Does money talk?
Oh yeah. You could have probably bought one.
And
I would have been a safe bet too, probably.
Like
Like
you would have been it would have been like minus 200. Like you got to bet 200 to win 100 that you couldn't buy a gun as a 13-year-old.
8-year-old walking through the flea market looking like Rambo with his AK-47s and bullets wrapped around
I
his...
know, all in Jersey, we can only buy knives and ninja stars and swords.
Yeah.
You guys probably were like, yeah, have this rifle.
Well, they've outlawed a lot of stuff, but you can go to like Gatlinburg actually, and you can pick up some like cool stuff because they're on that Indian reservation, and it's not illegal to carry a lot of that.
I don't know if you noticed, but in the East Coast growing up, they would call a gun a gat.
No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they would, and it makes sense that you could buy a gun in Gatlinburg.
Right.
Right? Yeah. It's in the name.
Yeah.
That's like an East Coast New York thing. So you join this place. You're doing all the martial arts. And you're like, I'm gonna stick to the collie sticks because I don't have the rest of this shit around me.
Right.
And did you start fighting under him, or
I did. Yes, actually.
Well, you were judo, so did you start getting belted through judo through him?
Yes, I did, and there was also another association that was in there with us, and we kind of like, you would go to one class, you join the gym up there, and you could like hit both classes for the same price.
Okay.
And you kind of like, they were a judo school, so that's where I kind of picked up some of my judo was from between them two and some of the other
You would
guys.
go to a specific.
Yeah, and they were in the same. They shared a gym basically,
Okay.
just different times.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so.
Different instructors, different programs.
Yes, but
same mat.
But the Sheridan was my main instructor, and I did more of the judo through him than I did from the other guy. But I would go to kind of both.
You still hear from him? You still talk to him?
Every now and then. Yeah, he actually he's a cop now in Chattanooga.
Really? How old is he?
He's probably 52 or 53.
And he taught you most of your judo.
Yes. Yeah, he taught me a lot. He was really good. I mean,
He seems really good because you're really good.
He was kind of like a well-rounded guy, and he was actually an airborne ranger. So he kind of like...
Those guys are tough.
Yeah, he was that
Snipers,
way.
Airborne Rangers.
And it was kind of funny because like the first time when I was looking for a school to go to, I didn't want to go to like anywhere because I'm not like like I thought I could fight, but like I knew and didn't know enough about fighting that I thought I knew till I actually joined. But you think you know. So you
especially because you're young.
right. So you're wanting to go to somewhere where you think you're going to learn something. And we walked in, and I took Candy with me. And Sheridan is not like the most physical looking. He's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like in martial arts. He's just like a regular dude. And she's like, oh,
Like a Bobby.
Yeah, she's expecting somebody to be like, when you walk in, you're expecting to like see Arnold Schwarzenegger out there like telling you how to like kick or hit or do something.
And honestly, if Arnold was teaching you, his body is so big and unfunctional.
Right.
It's mass times acceleration equals force. He's got mass, but he doesn't have acceleration with those big muscles.
Right. And, so she said, are you sure you want to train here? And I go, let's just see what he does. Let's see what he's got. See what he does.
He hasn't flipped the Volkswagen Beetle yet.
Right. So, we start talking and he starts showing me stuff. And I'm sitting here kind of like going, it's kind of like cool, stuff that I thought I knew that I don't know. And he's like explaining it. And it was like, I was pretty good physically and I was in shape and stuff, but he had like the mind of it and the science.
Yeah, because it's physics.
It is, and
Jiu-jitsu's physics,
right? And he was good at that part. And I told her, I said, I'm gonna join." So I kind of joined, and then just kind of took off from there.
Nice. That's awesome. And then like jiu-jitsu's physics. It's all physics, and he was able to throw you around and all that.
Yeah, and wasn't used to that either. But
how much were you weighing back then? Now.
When I started, I had grown. I had a huge growing spurt when I was a senior, and I grew. But when I got out, I think I was about 175 or 80 at that time.
Okay.
So I was about 6 foot now, which is what I am now.
Were you a lifter though? Because you have big muscles.
I did, and I had a physically demanding job. I was a block mason, at that time. So I kind of worked out and did that too. So I was in good shape.
Awesome. So so you're in there, you're training. When you had some fights, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes,
some amateur fights?
Yes, sir.
So who were you under?
As far as who was I like
under when you were fighting?
Just Sheridan was
Sheridan,
who that's who I was on. I mean, I didn't have like a big name, but
no. There wasn't big names back then.
No, it was.
So we're talking what? Are we talking 2002, 2004?
2001 is when I kind of started. I got going in 2000, and I had potential back then. And I was, like I said, I kind of had half the tools because I was fast. I was pretty stout, and I was tough. And he seen that, and he said, I'm going to start getting you some fights. So I started fighting after about a year of being there.
I did the 6 month mark too myself. A little early.
So it was. It probably was. But I mean, at that time,
but at least you had amateur back then,
right? But MMA it wasn't like it is today. So it wasn't like when you're fighting like an amateur fight, you're fighting some
buddy at a bar.
Yeah, you're not fighting like a high caliber guy.
Our guys it was pretty legit where I'm from because in 06 everything was, they had an athletic commission. They were like the first athletic commission for MMA. So everything was official. Everything was a drug test. Everything was like, hey, you're fighting in because most of the fights were in casinos.
Right. Yeah. Like, this was like, oh, what do you weigh? Okay, I weigh. We're gonna go fight. So let's go get you a fight.
Bar. It's like, oh, you didn't make weight. You got an hour to cut.
Right.
Good luck.
Right. Yeah.
Get back on weight, or else we're docking your purse. So how did it turn out, your fighting career? Like,
well, I just had a few amateurs. So
did you go undefeated?
I did, yeah. But like I said, I never went to like a high level like you. I never made it that far because in 03, my wife got pregnant and, then I started worrying about kids. So it kind of like cut me short.
You probably would have been a good... like that, you probably would have been a good mold to go pretty far back then. But the problem was when I started for the first 2 years, UFC's paying $3,000 and $3,000,
right?
And they're having less events,
right?
So that sounds good if you're a college kid and like money, and then $3,000's a lot more money back then in 2006. But once you are a kid having a kid, it's like
it's not.
You're like
it don't make sense to try.
It doesn't make sense. So. Did you start working afterwards, focus more on that? Or was it Like you had a job before that.
I worked before. I worked.
What age did you start working at?
Where I was working
What age?
with, 14, 15. I was working summers with my dad.
Okay. What was your dad had a business?
He was. He did. He's a block mason. So I grew up carrying block and
What's a block mason?
like foundations and putting in like brick, block, and you're doing foundations, bricking houses, and
Is it hard stuff?
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Everybody ought to have to do it at least a summer.
It's tough work, but is it tough to do it right?
It's tough to do it right, and it's the physical demanding part of it though will wear you out. It's just like a nonstop. It's almost like nonstop lifting weights for 10 or 12 hours a day.
Yeah, and then it's rough on the hands and
Back,
yeah.
biceps, arms, shoulders.
So you did that for a couple 2 years, about 15, 16?
Well, I did that until I was 23.
Oh, so you did the rough part till you were 23.
Yes. Yeah.
What was after that? What was next after being a block mason for your dad? When did you stop? What were you still working for your dad at 23?
Yes. Well, 22, when I was 22, I was working 10, 12 hours a day trying to go hit the gym, trying to train, trying to fight. It was hard. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to do this for one more year. And I said, I'm going to try to save up enough money to start building houses. And I said, whatever you want to do, if you want to build houses, we'll build them together. If you don't want to build them, then I'm cutting back on that and focusing more on the building.
You saw an opportunity.
I did. So that's kind of what I did. And he kind of,
this sucks.
Yeah, it did. And it was rough. I mean, in the summer, it's 100 degrees. In the winter, it's 30 degrees, or whatever. But it'd make a man out of you, but it'll also beat you up too.
It'll fuck up your discs.
Yeah.
So, did your dad decide to go with you or nah?
No, he stayed doing what he's doing, and that's what he's still doing. And he's, 65.
Wow.
So he's still,
It's probably tough as all shit.
Oh, he's solid as a rock, but it's just hard to make, a ton of money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's still working, basically like on a day-to-day.
Yeah, there's no real retirement.
No, your own retirement's what you make out of it. You got to make your retirement. You
got to make your investments.
Right.
You got to do that. That's the same thing here.
Yeah.
Rolling's rough too.
Oh, yeah.
Like every day, trying to fight these young guys. You got George, you got Josh, you got guys coming in. We got to help Sam get ready for a fight. Right. It's like it definitely adds up. So you start building these houses. What was the first house you built?
First house that I built was actually the one that we moved into.
So you built your first house. The first house you built was your house?
Yes, I was 23, and I had went to the bank and somehow talked them into letting me have a loan.
How much did it cost you to build the house?
At $108,000 at the time.
$108,000? That's a lot of money back then.
I did a lot of work myself, but
how big was this house?
It was 1,400 square feet, so it wasn't huge, but that was a lot and a house.
Okay.
That was basically like move in. Like
how big was the lot?
It was like a quarter acre. It was in a neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't huge, but it got by. And then we lived in it a year. And I wish I'd have kept it because my payment was like $700 a month. And I'm sitting here going, now if I'd have kept it, that house would have sold for like $300 today,
At least.
But you're paying $700 a month. You got a kid, and you're going, oh, this is tough. This is $700 a month. I need to sell this and make some money and just start building some more. Because the bank's only going to let you do so much. Right. Especially like you're 23 years old, you talk them into a loan, and then they give it to you, and then you're like, hey, can I build another house? And they're going, well, income to debt ratio is not gonna. It's not going to work. You can't do it. So I talked her into selling that one, and we moved in with her mom for a while. Never do that again. And,
I can imagine. Like either way,
it was a year we lived with her.
Ooh.
And
anytime living with your spouse's parents, one way or the other, she wouldn't.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough to both parties.
There's no house that's big enough for two families, and I don't care how big the house is. But
unless you had a wall that cut it off, and
still there's something's going to get through that wall. It's just not good.
So you would probably need you could do 20 acres and keep everybody on sides. You think the compound works?
It could.
It could.
It could work, but
it could get turned into a bubble.
Yeah, it could. So I wouldn't recommend that either because we've done that too. So
You tried it all. You're like, just everybody grows up and be your own person unless you got to take in a family member who needs it.
right, and I would do that, but
Yeah, of course.
But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to do it for fun, and
No,
it would be short term. Like I would be like trying. I don't know. I might try to help them hurry up and buy something to help them out, just to get them out of my house.
I'll build it.
Yeah, let's build you something.
Get me some shipping crates.
Yeah, give me some of those $40 2x4s and let's get started.
How bad are these wood prices now?
They're horrible.
What's a
double.
2x4 now?
I don't know exactly, but they're like close to like $20 a piece or something.
What?
Yeah.
They used to be like $4.
Yeah. That's like I say, I'm running into it on the new house I'm building now. You go get quoted 4 months ago on a lumber package and it was $60,000.
Yeah.
And now it's like $114,000. That's just for lumber, roofing, and windows.
What?
Indoor stuff like that. It's nothing else to do with anything. No foundation, no nothing, just lumber, roofing, and windows and doors.
Wow.
So
and
it's double. Yeah.
Metal's expensive too right now.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Tony was telling me, Affordable Roofing Co., that metal roofs have caught up to shingle roofs because metal is expensive now.
Yeah.
And he said metal never goes down.
No, it don't.
Wood goes down.
It does, and I keep looking for it to go down, but it's not. I'm not seeing it.
It's funny. They say go paperless to save the society and save the earth, but because we are going more paperless, they are turning paper tree farms into strip malls and plazas. Yeah. So a paper society keeps trees in. A paperless society, the guy who owns the land, he says we're not selling as much paper anymore.
Right.
Let's go open a Starbucks here. Let's go open let's put a strip mall here and sell.
Put a Target.
Yeah, put a Target.
Right.
That stuff sells. So it's funny. You hear one thing and it's not.
Right.
But they are making now they're looking to make more lumber farms.
Right.
That's on the rise.
I've talked to different suppliers, and I have been told, but you can't buy from certain lumber suppliers because they're strictly under a contract to sell to a retailer. Yeah. So they won't sell to the public. But I've been told, before that their prices are still the same, but these other companies are jacking up the prices. Don't know if that's true or not, but, they're like, they're not raised that much because of just lumber shortage or whatever. It's more of they know that everybody's going to pay it, so they're paying it
right now.
Yeah,
because the demand is
it's so high. Everybody's willing to pay whatever.
Where do you think the housing market is going? Because I think it's starting to shift. I think it's going to be coming into buyer's market soon.
I think
the interest rates.
Yeah, I think the interest rates kind of going up, kind of making everybody kind of really not know what it's going to do, and I don't know what it's going to do personally. And you talk to these so-called experts, and they kind of tell you that due to the shortage of houses, that everything's going to be fine. But you can't keep having people paying $700,000 for a house that's 2,500 square feet and expect them to be able to pay for it. Right. I don't know of any jobs that are that good, because if I did, I'd probably give up the contract and be like, hey, give me a job. Let me work my 8 to 5 and go home.
Right? And not take it home and stress.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? And then they say it's like classic. As soon as interest rate rises, it shifts, and it kind of looks a little bit like history repeating itself.
Right.
Because I'm seeing more inventory now because of that 5.5%. For those of you who don't know, 5.5% interest rate means every year, if you borrow $100,000, you need to make $5,500 to just pay the interest alone if you have good credit.
Right.
If not, you're 6.5.
Yeah, and but like these record low interest rates, like what we've had, is you don't see that much. And there's a lot of people that are like, 5 and 6 is not that bad, but the people that are just buying, they're sitting here looking at what we had, going, oh, we was like at a 2%, and now we're at 5%. Oh my gosh, we're not buying. But I do think stuff's starting to sit on the market a little bit longer. It's not just like, put a for sale sign up and you're getting 6 offers in the same day. I don't think. I'm not seeing that as much.
No, it's not. And I'm seeing a lot of things sit on Zillow. I've even seen some multifamily sit on Zillow.
Yeah.
Because everybody's, myself included, wants to get on that multifamily.
Right.
I mean, that's the way to go.
Yeah, for retirement, for sure.
To start.
Invest,
too.
yeah.
Like to build your own and then eventually move out of that when it's paid for or...
Yeah, pay it down and get some equity.
What would you recommend for, all right, let's say, what would you recommend for somebody who's never bought a house? Like what?
To start with, of course, you're going to have to save up some money because you're going to have 20%.
You recommend paying 20%.
You're going to have to, basically. The bank's going to require 20% down payment. But if I was to start over now, like I've learned a lot because I had nobody to teach me. Everything I've done, I've had to learn on my own. But if I'd have had it to do over, I would have tried to get a duplex, and I would have probably built it myself because I can. I'm capable.
For the person who can't build it,
the person that can't, I'm probably going to say you're going to have to start into some kind of like an entry level type house. Maybe buy one that needs a little cosmetic work or something. And then you may have to hold on to it for a couple years. And hopefully the market's going to appreciate and you're going to be able to turn a profit and then just keep reinvesting it. I mean, that's basically kind of what I've tried to do, but I've done it with houses that I've bought to flip, and I've done it with houses that I've started from the ground up. If you start from the ground up, the best thing about that, if you build them yourself, is when the bank looks at that, they're going to give you 80% of that value.
Okay.
So basically, like, me building a house, I'm getting 80% of that loan, so that leaves my 20% in the house. So that's my down payment, technically. You see what I mean? Does that make sense?
Okay, so let me get this straight. So you built this house,
mm-hmm.
and whatever it's valued at,
right?
You're 20. I think I'm lost.
Let's see. So you got a $140,000 house. And you get 80% of that house, they're going to give you $112,000.
Okay. So, and it might have cost you less because you built it yourself.
It would. Right.
Yes.
It would. So basically that 20% of that house being worth $140,000, I'm building it for $112,000, let's say. So there, my 20% down is my labor and all that I can save on building that house.
Okay.
So then, that gives me, I don't have to have that 20% necessarily for the bank to go buy that because I've got it where I've built it. I've saved the
value
money
of your house.
And sometimes they're wanting you to have the lot paid for. So then you would need the lot. Then you got to be able to.
Because they want your lot, though.
They want to secure their debt.
They want. Do you think the banks want you to fail so they could have it?
Sometimes I do, but if they get too many that default at one time, that's not good for them.
Yeah, Zillow stopped buying up properties because I guess, were buying too many pigs.
Right. So, and I think that's happened to a lot. They're like, you get investors and they're going, oh, that house is $150,000, and they're buying them over the internet.
That one we looked at. Yeah. Remember that one?
Yes.
You were like, so me and Daniel, whenever I look for a house, he helps me. I'm very fortunate to have him in my life. We looked at a house like right across the street from the gym. We want to live as close to this gym as possible. 1,800 square feet. I think it was listed at $90,000. We're like, what a steal. Yeah, what a steal. My ass. Daniel's like, oh, the front of the house is sitting forward. The rain's coming in. He climbed down the foundation. They had other buyers there, like left and right. Nobody's climbing down under in the crawl space. Like, oh, this thing is fucked. Pardon my French. He's like, honestly, it'd probably take you $100,000 with the friend hookup to fix this up.
Right. Cost.
At cost. You probably recommended that you just tear it down and build a new one.
Yeah.
Especially the guy had a Confederate flag sitting there, so there was evil racist vibes,
Right.
as the kids say.
Yeah. What in the world are we doing here?
Yeah, oh man. He would sit on his porch. Apparently Meg knew who he was. Go figure, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, that guy. So it's funny, Meg said that guy always sits there with a Confederate flag up there and just like sits on the porch. We found that Confederate flag like when we were digging through that house.
Does she live close to that?
Yeah, she lives up there.
I don't know if I know who that is, but I think I remember you telling me that she lived down the street or something.
Yeah, she lives up here. She's an East Ridgian. Yeah, so that was like, they definitely,
There's no way they came out on that house. No way.
Somebody from California just spent it in their bank load.
Right. They're like, oh, that's, that same house out here's $2 million. Let's pay $150,000 for it. And it's not worth it.
0.15 acres.
Yeah.
Now, I notice houses are getting tighter in East Ridge.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
No, but also like inventory is up. I've been looking recently.
Oh, it is? I haven't looked at East Ridge there lately.
Yeah, it's like 30 something houses now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
the most in a while, isn't it?
Yeah, with interest rate, there's even a duplex or two on there.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going up, but shoot, I lost
How are the prices? Are they going down?
They're sitting. I think they're starting to come down.
Are they flattening?
Yeah, they're definitely flattening and declining.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you recommend? Do you think somebody should wait a little bit more? Because also, like right next to my house, you saw there's going to be more hitting the market.
Right.
Like these builders aren't done building their developments.
Well, the biggest thing is I think it all comes down to like what you can afford. If I can get into a house cheaper than what I can go rent somewhere, even with the interest rate kind of climbing up, I'm probably going to go ahead and buy, even though I wouldn't want to. And then I would probably try to hold out and then refinance it if it comes down. But you don't know when the rates are going to come back down either. And they're liable to go up higher. So if you can buy it now and you say your rent was $1,500 a month, and that's not uncommon now. You're getting a 1-bedroom house and they're like $1,200 a month.
If you're lucky, if you can find it.
Right. So if you can buy something then, that's $200,000 and your payment's the same, but you've got like an asset, then I would go that route.
Okay.
So.
And I guess this is all because of like people are able to work remotely from their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they could bring a California pay to Tennessee.
Right.
So
and that helps.
And that levels the playing field for everybody. And I think that's what we're seeing a little bit.
Well, I mean, you get that, California money is what I call it. Then if they're bringing their wages out here, homeowners in our area can't compete with somebody that's just sold a house out in California, and made $500,000, and they're sitting there with $500,000 cash. And that's kind of what you're seeing out here, with a lot of these offers you're getting as everybody's moving out of there to move here.
But it's going to stop eventually because they're not going to be able to sell their houses over there at that
They're
price.
eventually going to get stuck, and then
so what's got to go up goes down.
It's got to.
Like Bitcoin, crypto's crashing right now.
I've heard that, and I'm not familiar. I don't know a lot about the stock market.
I'll tell you what.
That's kind of your expertise.
I try. I think I know, and then I don't know. Nobody knows. I learn more and more as I get older. Everybody's full of shit. We're just all a little bit smarter monkeys.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, we're just a little bit smarter of monkeys than monkeys. So you go to a lot of football games, huh?
Yes.
Is that just like, has that been a way of life?
It's just my kid. They've always just been involved in sports, so it's kind of.
Do any of your kids play football?
Both of them did. Bryce did. He didn't for his senior year because he focused on wrestling. But
wrestling was his love.
Yes, my youngest one, he plays and he loves it.
He loves football.
He loves that. Right. And baseball.
Baseball's his number one.
Well, he's kind of leaning. I think it depends on what season it is because, like, now that football season started back, he's like, "Oh, football's my favorite. I've always loved it the best."
He's like, "I've been saying that forever."
Yeah, like baseball's okay, but I love football. I mean, it just depends on the season.
And he's also doing the CrossFit Brody?
He was, and then they keep him so busy. It's hard to get him in there to do that.
They got a lot of homework now too.
Yeah, well, they're starting to slow down now because it's getting closer to the end of the year. So they took their tests. So that's the schoolwork's about over. They're about to the teachers are like, okay, let's just go have fun.
So is Brody going to start football practice over the summer?
They've already started. He's been practicing for 2 weeks.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, they had a practice this morning.
They practice all summer, right?
They will. It's like 8 months out of the year.
That's cool.
It's too much stuff.
They care. Yeah, but if you want to be good at wrestling, you got to wrestle all year round.
That's true.
Wrestling's 12 months.
Yeah, but I like wrestling because I can go sit in the gym and watch it, and it's air conditioning. Like if I go watch football practice in the summer, it's
air
hot.
conditioning. It would be 100 degrees out. My coach would put it at 110, his heater in his barn.
Really?
Yeah, then he'd put it on the T-shirts. Come melt with us, Elite Wrestling. He's produced some champions. His son, Sebastian Rivera. I think he's placed second and third before in nationals, and Frankie Edgar's been the UFC champ.
Was he where you're from?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or I might have known that, but I forgot.
Yeah, he's actually from Tom's River, so he's at my river.
Okay.
That's the name of the city, but it's so funny because every time there's a stat on me, they always put me in Tom's River, and I'm like, I've never lived there in my life. That's just my river.
Right. Yeah, that's all. I'd want my own river too if I could get it.
Daniel River down in
Georgia.
Yeah, it was, but in Jersey, there's one state champ, so you have to do it to be competitive.
Yeah, that's rough there.
It is a rough
Tough.
state. And, you see Rutgers is starting to get up there in wrestling too, in college wrestling.
Yeah. Well, that's and I think you and Chip touched on it too, but the talent up north is different than the talent but Georgia's catching up some, but New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and all that is it's very tough to.
Well, New Jersey's the reason why New Jersey's so good at wrestling. It's the most densely populated state, so we're growing up just fighting for elbow room.
Right. Yeah, and every corner there's probably a tournament.
Yeah, so you got to just try to get your space. So that's wrestling, hand fighting.
Right. Yeah, that's how you're learning.
No, but really, there's just a lot of good schools just confined to areas.
Right.
And then they have good feeder programs and stuff. And you are seeing it in Georgia a lot. It's crazy the type of community. I'm very fortunate I opened a gym out here because of this wrestling community here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the biggest areas in the state.
Well, this is Tennessee's premier wrestling area.
For sure. The best wrestlers in the state are in this area.
And UTC is D1. Is there any more D1 in Tennessee?
No, I don't think so. I think that's the only D1 in
So you go to
Tennessee.
Knoxville if you want to be D1 in football, and that's their football, correct?
Yes.
And then if you are UTs, like University of Tennessee, if you are the wrestler, you go to UTC.
UTC, yes, for sure.
And then they got a regional training center too.
They do.
And now I'm not super familiar with these. I'm learning more about them. That's just like an Olympic funded training center. What is it? A regional training center?
It's basically I think it's a way for them to kind of get a look at all the, the good wrestlers, because you're technically supposed to have placement in state of first through fourth. But then it's for the kids that want to go to the next level. And,
But Olympians train there too?
There has been some, which, Dan Dennis ran it. And then, I've seen George down there.
Yeah, he came here. Chip bought him.
Dennis. Yeah,
Dan. Yeah, you were there. You were there.
I got to roll with
good
him.
Old Chip.
Yeah, good old Chip. But yeah, and George, he helped down there too, and he's not bad. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's okay.
He knows a thing or two.
Yeah, one or two things.
So it's just kind of like an off-season college thing, or high school kids could go there. Could a Bryce go to this regional training center?
He did for until COVID. When the COVID happened, then it kind of stopped it. But he went for a couple of years.
Can he go now? Does it cost money to go?
I don't. Now that he's out of school or getting out of school, but the season's over and he don't want to go to college. He's kind of just, I don't know if they're still having it, because I used to keep.
Could he just lie and be like, I'm going to college?
He probably could. I mean, he probably could.
I'm sure George could get us in.
Yeah, he could. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
George can.
George has
George
got some
probably-
connections.
He seems to have like a little bit of like everybody kind of who wrestles knows who George is in this area.
Yeah, that's because he's a decent wrestler.
Yeah,
We don't
so-
want to tell him that he's good, do we?
No, we can't.
Okay.
But but it's funny that it's like kind of a known like, hey, George is the good wrestler. Around this
for
area.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And, he worked with Bryce and you worked with Bryce. And, it helped out a ton during the season just from the few times that he got to come up here.
No, it was awesome to help him out. It was nice to have a dog in the race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was cool to come out to state. I wish I would have came out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, well, it was kind of cool that you got to go down there for that anyway. So.
Yeah, and get kind of behind the Tryon team. And those guys are good guys.
Oh, they're
Talk
fun.
to them. And I enjoyed the whole process and being able to be a part of his senior year.
Yeah. Oh, he loved coming up here, which he's going to be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. He's got to be a kid still for a little bit, finally.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, you always end up bitter how your wrestling career turned out unless you won state and won nationals. And that's that 0.01%.
Right.
So, even Dan Gable's pissed he lost one match in college. So
Yeah, and
it's
everybody
like,
thought Dan was good, but he lost.
Yeah,
he lost that match.
one,
That
man.
one match. No.
and no one even like remembers it but him.
But you're right. Everybody else is like, man, that would be awesome to lose one match.
Yeah,
And
right.
he's like, man, I lost that match.
He's like, it still haunts me. I was like, oh, I wish my demons were that light. Right?
Yeah, I wish I could go say I got, beat one time in a wrestling match.
Yeah, in college. I got beat once all in college. It was the last match. Oh, that sucks.
That would suck, though, to lose the last match, though, of your wrestling.
It was, and he has a story behind it.
Yeah.
But,
To go all the way through and win and then lose the very last match, that would be I get that. I'd be pissed. I'd be wanting to fight the guy in the parking lot probably and say, you
Yeah,
didn't
right.
win. It's not over.
here, trace my clips.
Yeah, let's settle this in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Karate Kid style.
So how does it feel like, so you didn't fight anymore? It's over. How does it feel to like, what brought you to Militia? I should start with that. What brought you to Militia?
Well, after the fighting's over, I got, I worked. I took a few years off, and then I was being around Bryce wrestling. It's kind of going, you kind of get the itch because it's like, once you're doing it, it's kind of like it never leaves you. You're always like wanting to be a part of it some way.
So you saw Bryce wrestle.
Yeah, and
you're
I was like, I need to get back in shape and
I need
get
to
back.
do something.
And I don't want Bryce beating me up either.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, no, that ain't going to happen. So
how much did you weigh when you were like, I need to get in shape?
I was probably 225 or 228, I think then.
So you never got much past 230.
No, I'm about 220 now.
So you didn't let yourself get obese.
No, well, I would call me
You're not obese
but-
now, but you may be the obese.
Right. I just was still waiting for that ab to pop out, but it hadn't come out yet.
I saw it. You were holding your
did?
side.
Yeah. Oh, it did pop out that day.
It did pop out.
Yeah. So, yeah. But no, I got back into that just to kind of get back in shape and, visited a couple gyms and trying to find the right one, of course, is hard because I'm picky about where I go. I just don't go to like anywhere.
So
because-
before you even got to Militia, you were a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
How did you start jiu-jitsu? You're looking for gyms.
Looking for gyms and then,
You found one?
I found one and, having a black belt in judo, they started me out as a blue belt.
Oh, they started you out as a blue belt.
Well, and I mean, I was where I was going. I was kind of ahead of like most people that were ranked higher than me. So it was, I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe he thought he needed to put me at a blue.
See, when I was with Kurt Pellegrino, I already beat like Igor Gracie on the ground in an MMA fight.
Really?
But Kurt offered me a blue belt. I was like, let's do white. And there was something so satisfying. My white belt experience was so good because he just opened his gym in New Jersey, moved back, kind of developed the fight team to help him get ready for camps. So he's new guy in town. He'd have purple belts and brown belts showing up, so I would beat them in my white belt. And they would.
I got beat by a white belt today.
They're like, this gym is great. Even the white belts are amazing.
Right.
And then it was like we'd go back and laugh about it after. We had ourselves a good time.
Yeah.
Like he came down once and we had a super competitive roll together. That was the first time we met at my wrestling school.
And you got a white belt?
Yeah, then he's like, all right, you're going to be a white belt under. I was like, all right.
I'm
He's like, I could give you a blue belt, but like, nah, we'll go white belt.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do it all. And that was one of the most funnest times I've had. So you got a blue belt to start.
Yes. Yeah, and then
You missed out.
I know. I should have.
Got the white belt and beat everybody
probably should still be a white belt, truth be known.
We could demote you.
Well, we ought to do that. That would make me feel better when I'm getting beat up all the time. Like, oh, I'm just a white belt. I'm supposed to get beat up.
I'm supposed to lose.
Yeah. But no, I did. I don't even know how long I trained up there. It's been
You started as a blue belt.
Yeah, and then I've had about 7 or 8 years of just straight jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, people don't realize that jiu-jitsu comes a lot from judo, so
yeah.
I think it's warranted, and there's so much gi work.
Right.
You're not unfamiliar. There's arm bars in judo, so it's definitely warranted.
There's all the similarities. You're more technical than like a judo on the ground. Like we focused more on standing, but we did ground.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more, throw when you're going for that quick arm bar submission. Because if you don't get it and if you don't land the perfect throw, they're going to stand you back up, and you're going to have to take them down.
Groundwork's limited in judo.
I don't remember. I never competed
seconds?
like in just a judo. If you're not doing nothing. Now, if you've got them on their back pinning them, then you got to hold them there for like 25 seconds without letting them move.
Unless they land flat.
And
that's subject to the ref.
Right. Yeah.
If it's flat or you have a shoulder up.
Right. Yeah. He might say that was, that's over, or, you might.
I like this guy a little bit more.
If I threw somebody and I'm going to be looking for an arm bar back then, that was kind of my go-to. But like I said, I never competed like in just a judo match.
No, but it served you well in your takedowns against wrestlers and everything.
Oh, it helps. It helps. You know
when judo's good or when judo's not. If it works or if it doesn't work. It's like belts aside.
Yeah.
There's plenty of bad black belts at martial arts.
Oh, the world's full of those, I think.
And I bet judo's got a lot of them too.
Yeah, it is. And, I think a lot of the martial arts, I think I don't want to say there's crap in all of them, but like, I feel like that some styles they've got to make like an art out of it. So like some of the stuff that it's not practical is like in an art, and it's kind of like, but they make it an art. So they got to like
it's like Tai Chi.
Right.
You're doing your katas. You're doing all that like unnecessary stuff that doesn't have to deal with combat.
Right. But it's an art, so it's like, but you got to have like stuff, like even karate's probably got a few good things, but they've got a lot of bad. You know what I'm saying?
And it all depends on the instructor. I find also if we think jiu-jitsu is a newer sport, so there's been less water added to the Kool-Aid at times.
Yeah, and jiu-jitsu to me is like that's definitely more advanced. Like there's not as much crap in that, it's what I.
But now as time goes on and black belts become easier to attain by watered down instructors as time goes on.
Right.
It's going to go that way, but just karate's been around forever. Taekwondo's been around forever. Jiu-jitsu is like, 150 years old?
Yeah.
Well, bad guys are going to get promoted, and then they're going to promote bad guys.
Well, like the beauty of jiu-jitsu, too, I think, is like where you can go to like karate or some of these other arts, and you're getting like promoted just based on like being there. Mm-hmm. You get a black belt in 3 years.
Yes.
You go to jiu-jitsu, and if that's not just some kind of like McDojo or whatever they call it, you're waiting 10 years for a black belt, in some cases more.
Yeah, just about.
Right.
If you're at the right place.
Right.
Your instructor should be able to hold his own.
Right.
And there's some guys who hide behind like not rolling. Some guys hide behind not doing things.
Right.
There's ways to hide, but if you're getting promoted early, I think you're kind of at the wrong spot.
And I wouldn't want it, like me personally, like, I've got a couple of black belts, so like I'm good with the journey. I don't want to be like, oh, you're a black belt, and then I'm going and getting beat up by
there's not more
a white belt, or something. I'm not saying that can't happen, because you take somebody like George or whatever that comes in and is like a phenom, then it's
like,
you're dealing with he's going to beat the majority of people around here probably that are considered black belts. You know what I'm saying?
And that also comes with, like, he's also a black belt in wrestling. And it's not jiu-jitsu, it's submission wrestling.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we call it jiu-jitsu, but at the end of the day, it is submission wrestling.
Right.
So how do you like the transition from fighting to now you're my second in command with the fight team?
You know, I actually enjoy that. I just feel like that I need more time. And it's kind of like I feel like I'm a student of that now, kind of too. Like I'm having to learn
How to
coach because like I've always been the one getting coached. And it's like I told your wife, I said, you've got like a natural like knack for coaching. And I'm like I want to get to there. But
I try. I mean, I'm sure I made my share of errors, and this was my first. Our last fight was my first time running like the show ever.
Yeah, well, there's not many people that can coach and instruct and do. I can show people stuff, but I've got to work with them. It's something that you got to have a special talent to be able to like coach them. I feel like, and I don't know. Hopefully, I'll get that. It's going to take some time though.
No, I feel the guys trust you a lot, that work with you a lot, and you're definitely a huge asset to the team.
When I can move with them, I can see more of what they do. But to like sit over there and watch them from the sideline, like you can do, and you can sit there and like point out all their flaws. That to me is like a special talent. It's not everybody can do that. So maybe one of these days I'll get there.
Yeah, I try to always be yelling and vocal, and if not, I'm at least telling them to breathe.
Right,
and that's a good part. It takes time, and it takes a little bit of confidence too. Confidence helps a lot with it. The last thing I would want to do is tell somebody something wrong in a fight, and they do it, and it gets them punched in the face.
Right,
That sucks too.
Ends their fight.
We haven't had that yet, but
that's why I kind of let you do the talking, unless I see something just obvious, and I might chime in a word, but I don't want to be responsible for that.
No, you were a huge help backstage, and I think we had a good thing going. We just kind of had a system. Everything was prepared.
Yeah.
These guys had shakeouts in the morning.
Yeah, I just followed your lead, but if it hadn't been for me holding those pads, I just don't know how their fights would have ended up.
0-2.
Maybe. It's very possible.
Well, I mean, shoot, we went 2-0, and you cornered two of the fighters. Like, that was our debut. It wasn't like it was me and good old Danny Glover got together and like, we're going to get these guys some wins.
Well, and I enjoy that part, and that's what I was telling Candy. I said, used to I would have been the one getting coached. I said, now, I like to try to help them. And then when you can see the progress, it's a good feeling to be a part of it. And, especially when they do good, and it don't hurt as bad. Like I woke up Sunday after we cornered that fight and I wasn't even hurt or nothing. Felt awesome.
No, it was awesome. It was like so good to see them win.
Yeah.
And like be such a part of their camp and
they got huge potential.
And just like, hey, we're a good team, and this is our debut. This is who we are. These are our two guys. That was like such an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
Because now I treat everything like it matters. If we did shitty at a jiu-jitsu tournament, it'd probably ruin my week.
Right.
If we did shitty at the PKBs, that don't count.
Well, yeah, but that's why I think that's one of the good aspects of a good coach is they care. If you didn't care, you don't. Some people I think they teach and coach, but they don't have a passion, and you can see it in their fighters. Like I feel like that George and Josh, with them being the two fighters you've got right now, and you look at how they progressed, and then now that they're getting ready for another fight, it's like they've picked up where they've left off, and it's like they're getting better every time.
They're really turning some corners,
yes.
Both of them. Like the amount of like progress they're making, I'm very proud of them. And like the fighters in the belly, we got Landon, Colton. Colton looked really good the other day. You don't come in much at night, but he's looking really much improved. Landon's looking real improved. And I guess I'm very fortunate with those guys. Like we're in the I opened the gym in the Tennessee wrestling community.
Right.
So we get a lot of luck with that.
Colton had some wrestling experience.
Colton wrestled a little bit in Georgia.
I thought he did.
And Landon wrestled, and like that's a nice little perk because I was the wrestler, so good area for me to open a gym for my style.
Well, that's what. Yeah, your style kind of complements him. Really
grinding
well.
Wrestling, and I think that works out for who I am. So like a lot of pieces are coming together nicely.
Landon needs to get on the card.
Landon's kickboxing in 3 weeks.
Is he?
June 4th.
Has he did a kickboxing before, or did he do?
Well, I have requirements. So the requirements for guys to fight. So attendance is a requirement for guys to make the fight team, and like be like, hey, coach, I want to fight. It's like, all right, you got to make sure you're in every day. That's like the requirement for being on the fight team. Easy enough.
Yeah.
And then if you want to fight MMA, you got to win a grappling tournament and a kickboxing match or tournament.
Yeah. He's done a couple of jiu-jitsu tournaments.
He hasn't won yet.
Okay.
But when he wins, and then when he wins his kickboxing, I know he's already got the wrestling.
Right. He's another one I think that's got him and Cole, I think they've all got huge potential. And
Yeah,
I
they
noticed,
both do.
I noticed rolling with all the guys, every one of them, they're just getting better.
Fast.
Yeah. Quick. Yeah. But they've also got a lot of good guys up here that they get to roll with every day too. That helps.
Yeah, and nobody like really bringing the ego or anything, and like everybody's so able to work with each other because an ego will kill the place.
Yeah, and I cannot stand that.
Well, you know what I think it takes not to have an ego is to just get embarrassed enough times in your life.
Yeah, just get you humble.
Yeah,
humble, or whatever, however you say that word.
Yeah, you get humble. However, like you have enough shit to get you humbled, you'll be like questioning yourself. There's an old saying actually: the confidence of the amateurs is the envy of a professional. Because amateurs are very confident. I'm the best. I'm this. I'm that. Professional is like, does this work? Does that work? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the way to cut the pie or something.
Right. Yeah, and the levels of like a amateur versus the pros, this is like a huge difference. And people don't realize that either.
Yeah. So like when these guys, after hopefully they take over the scene, before they go pro, I'm like, we're going to have to go fight the champion of another scene.
Right.
And then maybe get a champion of another scene.
Well,
let's collect like 3 belts. And then it's like, all right, we're going to go 6-0 pro. Then go to the Contender Series or the Ultimate Fighter or the correct route. Because those seem to be the only routes now for young fighters.
Right. Yeah, and back to when I was fighting, it was kind of like you had to know somebody that just was going to try to take you in under your wing. This was not the area for that.
No.
It wasn't like...
New Jersey wasn't for a minute either. You had to really because the UFC was based in Vegas, so California guys got in a lot quicker.
Right.
And they weren't better.
No, they just was they had the connections.
They were on the camera. They weren't better.
Right.
But now there's a lot of feeder organizations and programs, and there's definitely Valor's a decent organization to get our guys where they need to be.
Yes.
But I think once they take over the area as amateurs, we got to take it over as professional.
Yeah.
Take over other areas as amateurs, and then as pros, we could take over this area, and then fight our bigger guys in big promotions like a Contender Series,
which could be coming sooner rather than later with the group of guys you've got.
Yeah, I'm very, very fortunate. They're good guys, and I think it's going to trickle down really well.
And their coach ain't bad.
Yeah,
he's
not too bad. I'm very lucky. You came in, Chip came in. It's funny. Sam's here too. I'm lucky to have Sam and Jordan come in and coaching these guys and helping
that was
coach.
The guy who fought on the Bellator, correct?
Jordan fought on Bellator.
Winsky?
Yeah, Winsky. Right? I'm gonna Winsky.
Yeah, I'm gonna Winsky.
Yeah, he killed it. And it's nice. I'm still kind of tied in with my old gym in California.
Right.
So guys will still pop in, and like I'm getting good recommendations, like from UFC fighters I didn't know.
Right.
They're like sending people in, or good guys are getting sent in from people I didn't know.
They've probably had to fight you or roll with you before, and they're like, "Yeah, that guy's good. You need to be down there."
Yeah. You know what it is? They hit the Google, they see who's the coach, and they just kind of figure it out, like who's got experience, who doesn't. And like, all right, this is the guy you got to go to.
Yeah.
Same like I send anybody else.
I wish there had been somebody like you when I was fighting, because that's like I tell everybody. I'm like, if you want to go fight, you need to be with somebody who's been there and done that. And people don't realize, and I know I've said it a minute ago, but you don't realize the levels of it. And if you've never been to that level, then you don't know what you're in for. Because an amateur fight is not like a pro fight by no means.
No, and throughout my career, I didn't know what I was in for.
Right.
I've made a ton of mistakes a little bit later in my career than earlier.
If you had a little bit different direction, like and known a little bit more, do you think that you would have been in a better like places like earlier than having to go the route that you had to go to get there?
One of the things, if I would have changed things, did good with a stand-up coach, and then once he left the gym, I kind of lost him, and I kind of went more of a boxing style, and I did better with the Muay Thai style, with that high-level coach. I would have got a better manager.
Yeah.
I would have got a high-level manager with connections.
Right. But see, now you've experienced that.
So
you know, and that's
mistake.
what I was trying to hope I tried to explain that right, because
and I got the connections here to get guys to that 5-0, 6-0, like, or the correct path when they're right to make it.
Yes.
I wouldn't have been rushed into a pro career either.
No.
I would have went the amateur route for enough time, which is something that needs to be done.
Right. And I've heard you explain that to fighters, and I told you before that was like great advice. And even Tim that trains that, well, he don't train anymore.
Yeah, Tim. Good old Tim. We missed you, Tim. We love you.
But we talked about like the way you laid that out, and the explanation of that was kind of like, like I didn't have that as a fighter, and to be able to have that as a coach, like that's huge. That's huge in today's game, I think.
And most of it's just learning from my mistakes. And I want to be a head coach. And like one of the things when I moved to Team Quest, there was no like real head coach. There was coaches, but I personally work better under a head coach. Like eat this, do this, jump this high, do that. Yes.
Right.
Instead of more of a self doer.
Right.
And I would work better as and then a guided path. And so I want to make sure at least I'm the best head coach that I could be. And I definitely always question myself. I'm like, maybe you could have yelled a little more in class, or maybe you could have did this a little more. And that's hopefully makes a little better. And I still watch a lot of video and try to stay up.
I think that makes a good coach, though, is because you're trying to get better too.
Yeah.
And that helps the fighter.
Of course.
Because if like you said, we talked yesterday, if most fighters win, it's, well, you won. We're not going to change nothing.
Yeah.
When your fighters win, you're like, you did good here, but let's figure out what you need to go to. Well, let's improve and not just stay the same. And I think you do a good job of that too.
Hopefully we could stay undefeated along this ride, right, Danny?
As long as I'm holding the mitts in the back.
That's it. We had those reaction time. We killed
that was like
back. I don't think there was a more involved corner.
No.
That was the important thing. Me and you were just hectic and doing things all the time.
Well, you had a game plan laid out, even backstage, and people don't see that either. But you didn't just go back there like the other fighters. They're all sitting there, kind of hanging out and talking, and George and
coaches
Joshua
are chatting with each other.
No, they're not laying out a plan or not laying out anything. And you've got a system like you're following. It's like, well, you do this, 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 and this. And then right before their fight, they're ready. They're going out there. They're ready to go.
I don't think either of them were not doing anything the whole time.
No,
they
was
whether
both
they were
moving.
getting wrapped or like hitting or just moving or stretching or.
Hey, I got a workout in though. I even broke a sweat back there.
I know. Well, you were so sweaty, Anthony.
Man, that's tough work right there.
I know. It was a good time. June 11th. Hopefully we could do it again.
Yeah, well, I told George, I said, or not George, I think it was Josh. I said, man, I deserve that medal. Or no, it was George. I said, I worked harder than you did because your fight didn't last but like 30 seconds. And I said, I deserve that medal.
You could have got both of theirs and made it a bikini for Destin.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Maybe the next one.
So, Daniel, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully I didn't bore the show too bad.
So, tell me, if we need a house built, who do we go to?
I don't know. I'll try to recommend some. No, I'm kidding. No, you can call me. I'd be glad to talk to anybody about it. And we do customs and remodels and everything. But they can reach out to me at 423-200-1155.
That's Daniel James Construction.
423-200-1155.
All right. Call them, prank them. Have a good in. Oh, wait, one last segment. Am I going to sell the gym or not? So we have a new segment. Am I going to sell the gym or not? Bought myself a $10 scratcher for $500,000. Am I going to leave this place and buy half of Atlanta? We will see. All right, Bobby, you got a coin for me? Oh, heads down, penny. Turn that up. So what do I got to do? I got to scratch this. All right, I got to get a cherry here. I got a clover on the last one. I had. All right, I didn't win the bonus games. We got to see the winning numbers.
So the gym's still open for now.
Wait. Hold your horses.
Okay.
Luckily, Bobby's an editor genius, and he could clip this early. All right, so we got lucky numbers: 18, 30, 25, 31, 28, 32. Those are our lucky numbers. 45, nope. 21, nope. 35, nope. 40, nope. 12, nope. I don't think this is a winner, folks. No, 16, 29, 41, 30. Oh, 32. I got a 32. Holy cow. I won my money back. That sucks. Tennessee lottery sucks. Hopefully there's another one.
What time is open mat tomorrow, Coach?
Open that. No, you coming open mat? Hold on, I'm game. Oh, I got a 30. All right, I doubled my money, Daniel. Hold on, open mats at 10 o'clock, right? No, sparring's 10.
That's the first class, though.
Yeah, open mat. You coming in?
Oh, well, I got to go to LaGrange tomorrow. But y'all got classes tonight, too, then? Right?
No, we're closed tonight.
Closed tonight.
We had to close because you were coming on board. So we doubled our money. We didn't have enough to close the gym down, but at least lunch is paid for.